Research has shown that diverse native ecosystems provide significant benefits. These ecosystem services include cleaning the air, filtering water, creating habitat, storing carbon, and improving our quality of life. Land development and increases in population has strained green spaces to provide ecosystem services. But an ecosystem does not need to be the size of a national forest to produce results. It can be in a neighborhood park or even a backyard.
Naturespaces is a pilot program that began in 2023. We selected 3 initial parks to get this program started. The first proper park was the Downs Neighborhood Park, and we selected that spot because it was in an area that had high health disparities, was traditionally underserved. We selected the park that we're in today, Barron's Woods, and it is an urban natural area, and it's a space that actually the neighbors have been involved in for a long time. And then Countryside Park in East Vancouver was a space that had also been stewarded for a decade by a local community member through the Adopt a Park program.
The 3 Naturespaces sites were assessed and inventoried, focusing on areas of the park where there are opportunities for restoration and native planting. Developed areas in the parks, such as play equipment, benches, picnic tables, and turf, are not part of the Naturespaces program.
Once you've identified the area that you want to work in, documented what's present and what you have to work with and what you have to address in that space, then you head back and you begin building out your plant palette. We have a plant calculator where we take the available square footage to us within the site that we'll be planting, and we take the on-center spacing of each of those plants, basically the space that they need to grow, especially when they'll grow to full size. And using that information, we calculate how many plants will be in our order.
In these nature spaces, we're looking to plant with native plants as well as climate adaptive plants. Our long drought summers can be really tough, so getting those plants established and then making sure that they continue to be successful is very important. So the right plant in the right place is a key element in making sure that these nature spaces continue to grow and continue to provide the habitat that they're going to provide into the future.
And we really want to build our soils. So we want to plant plants that will continue to kind of fix nitrogen and maybe deposit leaves and other organic materials to kind of do that work that the mulch has already started.
Past park maintenance practices of hauling away dead plants, fallen limbs, leaves, and trees ended up reducing the soil of essential nutrients. Adding mulch provides many immediate benefits to the soil and to plants.
So soil is the foundation of a healthy ecosystem. We must have healthy soils that are rich in nutrients, that have a strong microbiome, and arborist mulch can add to that to protect our trees and roots of native plants, and then also keep the soils moist and retain water.
To enhance the soil over the long term, large rocks and woody debris were installed in the nature spaces. These hard surfaces will be a habitat and refuge for beneficial insects, fungus, and bacteria to improve the ecosystem.
Park maintenance played a big role in setting the logs, setting the rocks. We created spaces in the ground that they fit into so they can't be rolled around. It looks very, very natural, and it is, but that's a good example of the front-end effort that it takes to make sure these spaces are safe.
Visitors to nature spaces areas should expect more of a forest experience, which can include some downed tree limbs, seasonal decaying plants, and even a couple standing snags.
Countryside's a good example where we have half of the park is still developed, so we're there and we're mowing and we're doing all the regular park maintenance that we have always done. The wooded area, however, instead of going through and collecting limbs, vegetative debris, a lot of that stuff is being left on site for habitat so that it can decompose and just reincorporate into the soil.
Education is an essential component to nature spaces. Not all of us know why a wild space like this is beautiful, why it is important, and who it benefits. And so it's important and essential for us to make sure that the community knows why a natural habitat is valuable.
Permanent and temporary signage has been installed at the 3 Naturespaces sites to help explain the changes.
And the purpose for that QR code is to guide people to the Naturespaces resource page. We like to compile a list of resources. It's a one-stop shop for frequently asked questions about kind of what we're doing and what programs like ours are doing. And it kind of gives the opportunity to empower the community to do this in their own yards.
Other educational Naturespaces outreach efforts include informational hiking walking tours, organizing the Earth Day Sustainable Community Fair, and hosting a forest school during spring break.
How many different types of living thing are on here?
It was a one-day event for kids in grade school to come and learn all about forest ecosystems, the importance of wildlife snags, the importance of mulch. We looked at mushrooms, we looked at all sorts of things. So we had just a great day of forest exploration.
Naturespaces also promotes the importance of pollinators to the ecosystem through outreach and pollinator-friendly plantings.
90% of flowering plants on Earth rely in some form or fashion on animal pollinators. Most of those animal pollinators are bees. 1 out of every 3 bites of food that you will eat in your life is brought to you by a pollinator. They're incredibly important to our agricultural systems, and they are incredibly important to our natural systems.
We pull invasive plants because invasive plants, if they go unmaintained, can outcompete native plants for resources in the landscape. And unlike native plants, many invasive plants, because they didn't evolve in this area, they take a lot of resources without giving a lot of benefit to the community in return. We pull invasives that are a threat to outcompete our native plant understory.
The removal of invasive plants, such as burdock and Himalayan blackberry at Countryside Neighborhood Park, and English ivy at Barren Woods, has been the focus for many Naturespaces work parties.
Removing ivy is sort of like the biggest thing we do. There's no competition, like nothing really eats it, so it's just allowed to grow. And that's part of the reason why like plants become invasive and why they're like a threat. We're like removing it by the roots, and then we are going to like smother it with like 4 to 6 inches of mulch.
Applying a thick layer of mulch after pulling invasives helps restabilize the soil and lessens the chances of invasive plants restarting.
There's a good section that we've managed to sort of clear out. We did a lot of that in last fall and over the winter, and now in the spring you can really see like the benefits, because like all this undergrowth has grown up, just like a lot of natives in general have come and basically replaced the ivy.
Part of the city's climate action framework is to bring in the natural systems within our community. So our green infrastructure, our trees, our open lands, our public lands, our parks, and to improve them, grow them, and so that they are better able to mitigate climate change, sequestering that carbon, cleaning our air, cleaning our water. Trees and that green infrastructure are wonderful sources at managing those ecosystem services.
It'll take about 3 years for the Naturespaces plants to establish their roots. During this period, there will be watering and some maintenance. After that, the plants should be mature enough to thrive on their own. An earlier similar project on a smaller scale is at an adopt-a-spot in East Vancouver that shows what the Naturespaces could look like in a few years.
This is the Downs neighborhood. I'm very much involved in the community here and along the 5 neighborhoods along the corridor. What people are saying about the park, very excited, very happy that all this energy is being put into the park and looking forward to like what this place can become for them. It's a very heavily packed neighborhood, and having this creates so much less stress, I feel, in families. Have the ability to go outside and play, the ability to sit in shade and enjoy a beautiful space. They are essential both for the climate action framework and sequestration of carbon. They're also essential places for our community to be and to enjoy. Naturespaces is very much rooted in that community engagement as well as volunteer stewardship and getting people involved in this work. Since we started this pilot in early 2023, we have engaged volunteers and spread lots of mulch, planted thousands of native plants. Our goal is to add 2 new sites each year into the program. Annually, we will have at least 4 educational opportunities, 40 or more volunteer events in our spaces. We're hoping to build that ongoing volunteer program with 5 new stewards and trained and doing ongoing work parties and supporting future leadership. When we're looking at a healthy, complete urban forest, we're really looking at all the layers of what that comprises. And we're looking at that in our parks, in our public spaces, and then we also really would love to see that on private property, at homes, businesses, churches, schools, because that healthy urban forest reaches across all canopies, all land uses across our community.
For more information and to get involved in the Nature Spaces program, as well as tips to create a native ecosystem in your backyard, visit the city's website at cityofvancouver.us/naturespaces.